What's up, YouTube? It's Ask the Young One with CreateHigherVibrations.com. Today I wanted to answer a question from a viewer that asked, what was the final straw that pushed you to move forward from the narcissist? And again, this is coming from my perspective, and I will touch on some of the things that caused that final push, that final straw. Now, there was a lot of things that happened previous to that. Again, the biggest thing with this that I can say is cognitive dissonance is a hard one to break. It's really a hard one to break, especially if you've spent time with this person. And for me, it was 9 years with someone, and I had no idea who they were, and that's a really hard reality to accept. And it's really hard to accept that they are not and never were who they portrayed themselves to be. And so, of course, like everyone else, I went through that stage. I went through those areas. For me, luckily, when I reached this point, luckily for me, thank you, God, I went through something in 2008, and so that led me to already being kind of in motion of awakening. And really, it took a lot to get through that incident, and a lot to get through that mentally. I learned a lot about myself from that. It took a lot of healing to get through that. So for me, when I got to my final straw with the second biggest and probably worst, or not worst, but most challenging life lesson, to get through that, I kind of reverted back to, that I had gotten through 2008, and I went back to what I needed to do to get through this. And I used that experience to kind of begin to do that. So that was my experience. Now, I understand for a lot of people, when you are realizing you're with a narcissist, that this is probably this very much could be your awakening experience. And it's very traumatic, and it's a hard thing to break through. And so, again, for me, after going through all the other parts, and the realization, and the cognitive dissonance, and the denial, and for me, a long time went by. We were already gone, separated, already in divorce, whatever, before I actually truly realized what I had been dealing with. And it took a lot of hindsight and going back and putting the pieces together through learning behavior and learning how others behave, learning how this, doing a lot of awakening of my own subconscious, of how all this plays out. I had to go back in hindsight before I actually realized what type of person I had just spent all these years with. And in that, also learning the patterns of the family, and seeing it and how it plays and how it was playing out. And that, again, though, that's another video. So getting back to my point of how I moved forward and what was the straw, and it really was just waking up to the point where, coming out of the fog, coming out of the cognitive dissonance, and realizing that I just spent all these years with someone that I did not know, that everything was a complete illusion. It was a lie. Every ounce of it, every I love you was fake. Every smile was fake. Everything about it was fake. And when you truly embrace that and can accept that, you will start to move forward. There will never again, when you get to that level of acceptance, there will never again be a moment where you'll question anything else about that relationship. There'll never again be a moment where, oh, he's drugged me back in. Your trauma bonds will be broke. It will all start to immediately, rapidly break free when you get to that level of acceptance and realization. You will begin to detach, and then you will probably move into, for me, I moved into a time where healing then began. when I broke the cognitive dissonance, and I broke trying to make the excuses, and I broke trying to say, man, they weren't really like that, were they? Like, when I broke free from that, that's when the healing actually began. That's when I was able to see how I was rejecting myself throughout these years, how I was in denial of what was right in front of my face throughout these years, because I was blinded. Like, you're blinded. You really don't believe someone is like that. You don't believe that someone is capable of actually inflicting and using and lying and manipulating another human being to the point that the way these people do. And so it's hard to break free from that and truly on a conscious level begin to understand that. But I'm telling you, once you grasp that, everything else will break free. You will know. And that's, you're going to go through then again some more anger probably, but you're also going to go through the betrayal. You got to heal the betrayal. You got to heal the rejection. You got to heal the other, the different, whatever comes up for you. You got to start to heal those things. And then it gets to the point where you're like, how did I miss this? So then you go into you start going into the parts of you, and then you start realizing your entire belief system is built on someone else. Your entire perception and worldview is built on other things. You realize the illusion is not just this big from a narcissist, but it's this big. And you start waking up to these things. And you start really going down a rabbit hole, which eventually starts getting you farther and farther away from that incident or that experience. And you actually then start to heal, because you start to understand things a lot more on a conscious level, on a divine level, on a soul level, and then you can start to get things back. But I will tell you that the healing will not begin until you get to that full acceptance of what you were dealt with. And one of the things that really got me was the arguing, because there's a child involved, and so the arguing and how to co-parent, all that. You're not going to get to these people. Like, you might as well, it's a pointless deal. The only person that exists in a narcissist universe is the narcissist. No one else exists. No one else matters. The only thing that matters is them. That's it. That's why you hear one common thread amongst all survivors, and that's the self-centeredness of these people. It's massive. It's disturbingly massive of how self-centered these people are. And it becomes blatantly obvious when you start to deal with them, and when you realize everything about them is a fake. Everything about them was a lie. Everything. And I'm not exaggerating. Everything was an illusion. It was a fake. And when you get to that point, like I said, for me, I got to that level of acceptance. When I hit that level of acceptance, it was like the switch went off and everything else started going in a different direction. It was no more about that person. They are what they are, and it was about me now. It was about taking care of the young one and realizing and embracing what I'm being taught here about myself, so that I never get into that situation again, ever again. And so, for me, I hope this answers the question, but for me, that was really where it got to, that level of acceptance. There was no more reminiscing over memories. There was no more reminiscing over, what could have been. There was no more reminiscing over what they told me, all the shit they told me. There was no more reminiscing, because it was all fake. It was all a lie. It was all bullshit. It was all to use you. It was all to get what they could get from you. It's what it was all about. It was a game to them. And when you truly get to that acceptance, there will never be a moment that you will ever accept their text in a way of, I'm sorry, or I really love, like, it's bull. You'll see it. You'll be done. Like, it doesn't matter no more. It's over. And you get to that point, and it's about you from there on. It's about how you're going to move forward and grow from this situation to the point where it never happens again. So I hope this answers the question. I'm sure there was some other stuff that I wanted to cover in this video, but the key for it for me was hitting the level of acceptance that broke the cognitive dissonance. When that hit, again, it was like living in a box like this with all the cognitive dissonance being locked in, and when that hit, it all just kind of, the box just exploded open. And then from there, I began going forward, because I'm telling you, psychologically, when you get to that level, it's almost like you never knew the person anymore. Like you don't know. Like I have a child with a person, and it's like I had a child with somebody I had a one-night stand with, not someone that future faked me into it. And that's what it's like. Like I'm dealing with somebody that I don't even know, that I never knew, and that's fine, because I didn't know the person. I don't know who this person is. I have no idea. And you'll get to that point because that's what it was. And it's a really hard thing to get past, but breaking the cognitive dissonance and realizing what was truly going on and what has truly happened, it is going to be another level. Like you're going to take yourself to another level of consciousness, and then you're going to begin to heal on a massive level. That's when you start healing rapidly through yourself. You know, and again, like I said, this is just the beginning. These people showing you this type of illusion is really just the beginning, because when you start to see it, you really start then seeing how much of an illusion so much of of everything has been in your life, and it really opens it up for you to start seeing the truth, and then you start speaking your truth, and then you start living from truth, and then it takes you to another level. You don't go back to the old person that you were before these people. You don't go back to that. You have changed. You have no choice but to accept the change. And that's why when you heal the traumas that you were carrying when you met the person, it's going to change you. It's going to wake you up. It's going to change how you view the world. It's going to change how you deal with people. It's going to change how you understand everything. It's going to change a lot. So I hope this helped. And but the main thing was that click, that light bulb going off, realizing the illusion, the fake, and exactly what it was, exactly what they are, exactly that nothing else matters to them but them, nothing. No parents, no kids, no family, no husband, no cousins, no nothing matters to these people except them. Now they'll use everybody around them, but they still don't matter to them. When you realize that, and nothing that you go back and forth on will make a difference, you realize that you're going to break that cognitive dissonance, you're going to break free, and then you're going to start to heal. So I hope this helps. If it does, drop your experience in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you would. Hit the notify button, whatever all that shit means. Share it if it helps you. I hope this plants a seed for people. It's really just to give you hope that there is a difference, that there is another side, and that it will get better. And, you know, I understand, man, it's a hard road, and it will get better. But you have to choose at some point. You'll have to choose to see it. You'll have to choose to stop denying the duality. You'll have to choose to stop denying that reality and making it up in that it's something different. And at that point, we'll make a big difference. So with that, I will jump off here. Hope you have a great night. Namaste.